Thank you for tuning in. My name's Jamie. Welcome to Jamie TV, where we don't pissy pants about. Today I'm going to show you one of my favourite reverb apps for iOS. It's universal, it's beautiful, and it sounds like this. Stratosphere Cloud Reverb is made by Blue Mango, and I've become pretty enamoured with their apps recently because they're always very pro sounding, very cleverly thought out, and they have little features to them that are just a little different from every other similar app. Now if you're looking for a reverb that's going to work in ambient music, if you want something very atmospheric, something perhaps with a very long tail to it, then this is the very fella for you. So let me talk you through how it's used and play some sound examples, and hopefully you'll see why I love it so much. So here we are inside Cubase's 3, where I'm going to use UVI's wonderful Ravenscroft piano to demonstrate this app. Of course, Ravenscroft does have its own wonderful built-in reverb, which is perfectly suited to a piano app, but I just decided that a piano was a really good instrument to use so that you can really hear the effects of the controls as I move them around. So let's go and open up Stratosphere. Now starting at the top left hand side we have decay time, which determines how long the tail of the reverb will be. So I'm just going to play the piano track back and gradually creep that up so you can hear the effect that it has. Now as you can hear, still, this app has an incredibly long reverb tail length. What I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to bob down here and I'm going to mute that, and I'm just going to use this instance of Mononike, which I have a little bit of automation on actually. There's a little bit of filtering and a strange bit of quirky tape delay I've got on there. I just want to use this to demonstrate further that very long tail length. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it play right out so you can hear just how long it is. Okay, that's more or less filtered out now. Okay, so let's go back to the piano. Didn't mean to press that. Did I mute one on okay? There we go. Okay, now wet mix speaks for itself really. Most people will know what that means, but just in case you don't, all it means is if I dial this right round to here, if my mouse will behave, then we have absolutely no reverb at all, and the more we turn up the wet mix, the more we blend the reverb into the mix. I shall demonstrate. Okay, now once the reverb has kicked in, if you'd like the tail of the reverb to be nice and smooth, then turn the modulation control all the way down. Because Stratosphere has 2 LFOs and 2 choruses in the later stages of the reverb to create some side-to-side movement. And to blend that in, you just turn up the modulation control. So let's move on to a later bit of this piano so we're not hearing the same bit over and over. And I'll press play and I'll turn it up so you can hear what that does. Now I thought about using Google and finding a fancy explanation, a clever way of explaining to you what diffusion is, but maybe putting it in stupid old hippie layman's terms is actually more helpful. Basically, on a lot of reverbs, when there's a longer tail in particular, when that reverb first kicks in, the first initial part of the reverb is a little thinner, often described as grainier, and then it thickens up afterwards. So with the diffusion control, what you can do is you can alter the time that it takes for that reverb to thicken up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play a chord myself, and then I'm going to gradually turn up the diffusion, keep playing the chord so you can hear the difference. Actually, let me just turn the modulation down a little for that. Okay, now for me, one of the things that I really like to see on a reverb is I like to see the possibility to cut high and low end, particularly low end actually, because for me very often one of the problems with reverb is that it can swamp the low end of an instrument, which when you're using that instrument standalone, like a solo piano, might sound wonderful, but when you're trying to put it in a mix, it's problematic. So the ability to cut or boost low end or high end is wonderful. So what we have here is we've got a low end boost and a high cut. So to increase the amount of low end reverb, we simply turn this one up, and here, if this control is all the way around here, we have all the highs in, and gradually as I bring it round, it cuts the highs out. So quick demonstration of that, I think. Okay, an onset time is simply the length of time that it will take for the reverb to kick in after the initial note. But I should just point out that the way that Blue Mango have made this app, there is reverb from the very moment that you play your first note. There is reverb present, and then after that, then the controls here will determine exactly what happens with that reverb. Okay, so I'm just going to play this piano again, and I'm going to change the onset time so you can hear the differences. In fact, I might have a play around with some of the other controls as well. Hopefully I've successfully demonstrated just how gorgeous Stratosphere sounds and given you enough insight into it for you to make a decision on whether this is a reverb that might work for you in your productions. Now, if you think I've missed anything, or you have any questions about the app or anything else music related, you're very welcome to comment below the video. I will reply, or if you prefer to contact me directly, all my contact information is down below the video. I do have a few favourite reverbs that I use for different kinds of applications, and I have thought about making a video about my favourite few reverbs and what I use them for. So I'd really like to hear from you. What are your favourite reverbs? What do you use them for? Please comment below the video so I can check out if there's one that I've missed that I ought to look at before I make that video. Okay, so until next time, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't done already, give me a subscribe and ding my bell. Please consider checking out my Patreon, making a one-off donation to the channel with a PayPal ME thingy down below the video. Take care of yourselves, be good to each other, don't piss your pants about, and I'll see you soon.